What's going on, everyone? This is Russell here. Going to break down the October 29th slate, NBA slate. I was hoping to have some more news at this point. There's still three major things we're waiting on. First is the Pacers starting lineup with Brogdon out. I know McConnell might just slide in for him, but I know there was talk about shifting up the starting lineup anyway, so we're waiting on that. Waiting on the Jokic news, if he's going to play or not, and if LeBron's going to play. So those are three major things that are going to shape the slate. So I'll try and make this quick so you have time to adapt once the news breaks. All right, I'm only going to reference a few players at each position to keep it quick. So let's break it down. We're gonna do it from a tournament perspective, as usual so far. So obviously, Westbrook's a strong play if LeBron's out, but I'm more interested in James Harden around his price point. I don't think Harden's hit value once yet. Let's see. I guess in the first game he did by one, but has been struggling. With Brogdon out, it's going to be a different look for the Pacers. The Pacers have been struggling, and I think this is a good day for Harden to finally, make some noise and hit his ceiling. Plus, he plays earlier than Westbrook. So, you're better off taking a chance on Harden, who obviously has a ton of usage, even though he hasn't been popping lately. But, for all we know, LeBron might play, and then Westbrook doesn't become a strong play, and you're wondering what to do with all that salary, especially if Jokic doesn't play too. So I like Harden as a tournament play quite a bit. Damon Lillard, I also love. He's finally hit some threes. He was struggling. He's back. He's got a good matchup against Freddie Jackson. So I like both of these guys to get in your lineup instead of Westbrook. But don't fade Westbrook. Oh, wait, some news? No, nothing significant. Okay. All right, Diorn Fox is another guy I actually like. He hasn't hit value once. According to his price, 4 straight games of not hitting value, but that has resulted in his price dropping by $900 on DraftKings this month. So, this might be one of the cheapest times you can get him. It could be a very fast-paced game against the Pelicans, and I like him. LaMelo Ball's a bit riskier. Not as high on him, but worth a shot in a large field GPP. Another play I like if you're playing a huge, large field GPP is Garland. He's not the sexiest play, but Lakers have let up a ton of points to opposing point guards, and I think he's only projected for 2 to 4% ownership. So, this leverage tool ranks his ownership compared to his ceiling in this specific slate. And he is at the top with Rozier. Don't like Rozier because even if he plays, he's probably not going to play enough minutes. So Garland could be the leverage play of the entire slate. Don't love him, but I think he's worth playing in a large GPP today. All right. Oops. Moving on. Anyone else? Hold on. Got some news. Okay. Sexton is also similar to Garland. Either one of them could hit 50 DraftKings points today. Obviously, McConnell's probably going to draw the start. He'll be popular. He's a solid cash play, and I wouldn't fade him in tournaments. Brunson's been cheap and, getting in the 30s, hitting value. Solid play. But I think there's more interesting options today to take some chances on if you're trying to take down a GPP. I think that's it. Shooting guard. All right, so we got Van Vliet, who's come off 2 strong performances in a row. I don't know. I think he'll do well, but I think you want to use your salary elsewhere today because there's, Bruce Brown's going to be chalky, playing 30 minutes, and maybe play Bruce Brown with Harden to kind of make your lineup slightly different, because most people are just going to throw in Bruce Brown. I saw 34 minutes last game. He's still very cheap. I like him, even though he's going to be chalky. And I like throwing him in the shooting guard because I think there's a lot more interesting plays at small forward today. All right, but back to the higher price guys. CJ McCollum. Will Barton is kind of interesting if Jokic is out. I think he had his highest scoring performance, and that was the game where Jokic bumped knees with Gobert. Yeah, he dropped 21, highest of the season so far. And one thing we can do, if we go to on-off and we take Jokic off the court, we see he has the highest increase in usage. So definitely someone to consider in a tournament. Anyone else interesting? I think Duarte is kind of interesting if LeVert doesn't play. With Brogdon out, there's going to be more shots to go around. Not the best matchup, but definitely someone to throw in a tournament if you're making a bunch of lineups. Lowry, I think, is playing, so Harrow's not as interesting. I don't know how Hardaway is so expensive, but he'll probably be low owned. He hasn't done much. And, with KP out, we saw Kleber get like a ridiculous amount of blocks. So who knows, maybe Hardaway is the one to go off today. So if you're trying to take down a large GPP, someone to think about. Yeah, he's got one of the highest leverage ratings. Yeah, Buddy Hield had a good game last game. Coming off the bench still, but didn't need that many minutes to put up a big score. Against the Pelicans could be a great play too. I think that's all that's interesting to me. Shooting guard. Small forward. Let's see. Obviously KD. Still waiting to see the Pacers starting a lineup. I think KD's interesting. Actually, regardless of who they start, but let's see. You could play KD with Bruce Brown too. I remember last year there was a bunch of pick and roll with him and KD on Lopez, and they were just abusing him. But obviously, Miles Turner is a better defender than Lopez, on pick and roll at least. Butler's been crushing. I know Lowry's back, but against Charlotte, I still think 8-7 is too cheap. If you look at his box score the past 2 games, he's been in the 50s. 5 steals, 4 steals. He just gets so many stats. He's pretty safe. I guess 8-7 is actually fair because the steals have been a bit higher than it's going to be, obviously, for the whole season. Michael Porter could be interesting if Jokic is out. His price is fair. The only thing is he's probably going to be popular. Moving on. Obviously, LeBron could go under owned if he is playing. Let me check one thing. Where is it? Matchups. Let's go to Charlotte. So Hayward draws PJ Tucker, likely, and Bridges. Okay. I don't know if they're going to put D-Rob on Bridges, honestly, but if they do, Bridges isn't he's been killing it too. He's been consistent, which he wasn't in the past. 36, 46, 45, 41. And he's still only 7'3", so I like him if you don't want to pay up for, an elite play at small forward. Power forward's it's gonna be a bit crazy today because Kleber has that insane performance with the blocks the other night, and he's still only 3-3, so he'll be popular. Batum had a decent showing. I don't know what he's projected, 9-12. Not the most exciting player to roster. Aaron Gordon also had a good night once Jokic went out with his highest point total. And one guard I think I may have forgotten to talk about was Monte Morris. Let me go back to him. So not only did Barton and Aaron Gordon have their best games once Jokic went out, so did Monte Morris, putting up 19 points. And if we look at the correlation tool, again, small sample sizes here, the only player Monte Morris is positively correlated with is Aaron Gordon. So if Jokic is out, you could play both of them in the same lineup. And, it's not the be-all, end-all. You could throw in Barton too, because it's not too often Jokic is out. So you could maybe play 3 out of 4 if you're, trying to stack them. And they're cheap. Morris, Aaron Gordon at their prices with the usage increase they're going to see with Jokic off the floor. It could be pretty good bargains. All right, back to power forward. Talk about Aaron Gordon. Covington is really cheap. I know his production hasn't been there. Someone to definitely consider at that price, because if he's hitting threes and getting those blocks, steals, some rebounds, easily could crush that price. Obviously not a cash play because he's very inconsistent. Okay, center is what I'm most interested in today. So we got the big, we're waiting on news about Jokic. Bam is playing. Dwayne Dedmon would have been a very, very attractive DFS play had he been out. But I think my favorite play of the entire slate is actually Nurkic. Reason because I don't think he will be popular. If you look at his minutes, they haven't been above 30, but a lot of that has to do with the score. I know this game was close and he played close to 30, but this is like a 29-point game playing 25 minutes, so it wasn't close. Another lopsided game, only 23 minutes, another lopsided game. So he can definitely play over 30 minutes if the game's close. And people may be a little maybe forget how high his ceiling is. I mean, the dude can rack up a ton of stats at 7K. His ceiling, it's a fairly accurate projection. I've seen him score more, but I think he's probably the favorite play on the entire slate. I don't think he'll be that popular. I could be wrong. I like him regardless. Sabonis, I imagine will be higher than 5 to 8, but with Brogdon out, let's see if he has I imagine it won't help him that much, because I know Brogdon works well with Sabonis. All right, Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, nothing significant. Duarte is probably the most significant here, because Torrey Craig is, it's a small sample size, and he's not, the highest upside player with the minutes he's getting. So that reinforces my Chris Duarte liking for tournaments. Garrett Temple ruled out. All right, back to center. Valanciunas has been killing it. He's priced up there now, but the Kings, I think, allow the most fantasy points to opposing centers in this young season. Let's see. Yep. So the price might drive a few people away. I like Val quite a bit as a tournament play. High leverage. What are they projecting him? 5 to 8. He might be a little higher, but love Val. Maybe go with my favorite double center special, Nurkic and Val. Another center that went overlooked last slate, Wendell Carter. He's seen good minutes, and I think his ceiling's a little higher than people realize. I know Bamba's on the team too, and Franz gets some rebounds as well. But, I went 20 and 10 last game, 32 minutes, still 5'9". I also like Richaun Holmes, even though he's going up against the Pelicans. He doesn't need that many minutes to rack up a ton of points, like stats. I mean, 29 minutes, 12, 3. If he gets, some more blocks or steals in that game, we're looking at 40. He went for 45 in that first one. He's only 5'8", super cheap. If you want to get a little game stack going in that game, I think Devontae Graham, who's been, hitting value or exceeding value, he's still only 6K. So you could throw him in a game stack or just roster him as one of the only players in that game. Yeah, I think that's all the plays. I know I went through it really quickly. Obviously, there's a bunch of people I didn't touch on. But I think that's it. So let's make a lineup real quick. Well, latest news. What do we got? Levert ruled out. Okay. All right. So at point guard, I'm either going to go with Harden or Lillard. Now I think I pointed this out last video. You see how Lillard's projected for less, but his ceiling's actually higher in this one. That's something I look for. Plus, I'm just feeling Dame. So we're going to go with Dame. And I will pair him with my favorite play, Nurkic. And I believe they are positively correlated. Yep. Even if they weren't, I mean, you shouldn't, like I said, it's not the be all end all, especially this early in the season. All right, shooting guard. Well, with LeVert ruled out and Brogdon out, we still don't know the starting lineup, but Duarte has been starting. I'm tempted to put him in. Let's go for it. Small forward, I'm going to ride the chalk on this one. Bruce Brown. Power forward. So now, I'm thinking about going in on a lot of Denver players. The risk with that is if Jokic plays, they play at 10 p.m. But if I'm playing a large field GPP, which I guess I will for this lineup, you're going to want to take chances. So I'm going to put in Aaron Gordon and Monte Morris and Will Barton. Let's see how much salary we have. 9.2. Who can we afford? Nothing. We'd have too much salary left over with any of these. Okay, so let's get rid of one less Denver player. Let's get rid of Will the Thrill. Now, let's look at some projected ceilings. Sabonis. Harden still projected for 9 to 12% ownership. Let's go with Diorn Fox. I don't think he'll be highly owned. Hasn't hit value once, but again, his price has went down 900. So you might never get him at a cheaper price this season. And what does that leave us with? Just missed out on Mobley. Yeah, wasn't really too high on him. Michael Porter instead of Barton. That's interesting. Still doesn't feel quite right. I'm going to actually take out Duarte. I'm going to put Bruce Brown there. Now, let's see. If Bridges does go against D-Rob, I mean, I don't know why he's projected 3.68 less than his salary implies. Do I dare go? I mean, I am going in on Nuggets. You know what? Screw it. Let's go with Hardaway. Maybe this is the one game he goes crazy. I don't love it, but hey, if you're in a large tournament, sometimes you got to take these risks. And what does that leave us with? 5-4. I know I could shift Bruce Brown to here, so I could do 5-4 for either a guard or a forward. Norman Powell. Ooh. And what about guards in that range? Just missing out on McConnell. I know that he's not shooting guard eligible. So yeah, you got to play around with it. I actually haven't really played around with lineups today. Kind of just winging this. Let's see. Any news? No new news. All right, let's move Bruce Brown to forward. Oh wait, actually is Tim Hardaway shooting guard eligible? Yeah, him and Bruce Brown, okay. So we'll just put Bruce Brown there, it doesn't really matter. Who is Powell correlated with so far? Okay, not the players I'm rostering, really. Might have to get rid of you, Fox. All right, let's get rid of him. I really don't want to play Tim Hardaway. Ugh. Let's do it, though. You know what? Times like this, let's hit optimize and finish it, because I know you guys are waiting for news to drop. Oh, of course, he gives me Westbrook and Batum, but... See, I want to know if maybe O'Shea Brissett is starting for the Pacers today. That would be really interesting to me. You know what? Let's just go with my double center special. Who do I get at power forward? Markkanen. How many minutes is he seeing? Not a crazy amount. I don't really like his matchup either. Oh boy. Brissett is 4'8". You know what? I'll save Hardaway for a different lineup. I'll obviously make more than one. I have a bunch reserved. Let's go back to Bridges. The thing is, I don't understand why his price isn't a little higher based on his production. Do I want him at power forward? No. All right, Gordon. Lillard, Bruce Brown, Miles Bridges, Aaron Gordon, Nurkic, Morris. Who has a higher ceiling projection today? Val or Diorn Fox? Val at 61. Okay. Okay, so let's go with Val. And that does leave us with 4-8. I'm going to put in O'Shea Brissett for now, but he may not be starting. We'll see if he's starting. I may have to change this, but for now we're going to go with this. Probably move him here because he plays earlier. Lillard, Brown, Bridges, Gordon, Nurkic, Morris, Brissett, Val. Now if Jokic plays, then I'm going to be scrambling, but I will fit Jokic in and change everything around. So, good luck. We'll see what happens to this lineup. Very subject to change. But yeah, don't be afraid to take some chances today. A lot of plays that could pay off in a large field GPP. All right, good luck.